Wakey, wakey!
Jesus! Hello guys, welcome to this video. Now today is a bit of an interesting one. I just thought I'd do the best way to transport your motorcycle in a van. The best way to transport your motorcycle.
In a van.
In a van or any vehicle. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it.
First of all, I'll keep them away from the microphone. Monster Munch, £1.25.
Essential for track days.
Essential for motorcycle riding and fitness purposes only. Nutritional value, top level. For many years I have pondered the existence of motorcycle carrying travelling. For many years I have pondered, what is the best way to transport a motorcycle? It's taken me many years to find this out, but I think I finally have the key. I think I finally have the answer. Come and join us whilst I show you what the best way is to transport your motorcycle in any situation. Rain, snow, sleet, hail. Sun. It's a beautiful, that was good. It's a beautiful day today in sunny Norfolk. Let's show you some more stuff. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So we've just pulled up to the track.
Jordan, there is no track.
The road is my track. Imagine this. We just pulled up to the track. You've loaded your bike up, or have you? Maybe you haven't yet. Maybe you want to, maybe you can't, because you haven't got one of these contraptions in the back. Hold on, guys. Let me get you a wide angle view on this. What is this, you ask? Well, this is not a telephone. No, it's not. This is a ramp. This is a ramp. This is a ramp. Now, the van is a ex-disabled wheelchair van. If your nan or granddad wants picking up and they're in a wheelchair, let me know. I'll strap them down next to the bike. Ow! I'll strap them down next to the bike and we'll take them out for the day. Where do you want to go? Anywhere around Norfolk. Hello, Jordan's Taxi Services. I'll be there in 10. After many years of using a traditional ramp system, hold on a minute, have I got one of them? After many years of using a traditional ramp system to load motorcycles, you see, that hasn't been used in a while. I wonder why. It gets to you. Here, here, and here. Mentally and physically, it gets to you. Sometimes you've had enough. Especially with the higher, and this is serious, I'm being deadly serious now. Especially with the higher vans, it's actually quite a struggle to push the bikes up, especially when you've had a day at the track and you are a bit tired, and then you go to, I'm really out of breath, you go to push the bike in the back of the van and you're struggling, and that's when accidents happen when you're struggling because you're tired. So, yeah, ramps, there's one thing. Now this is what I've learned. Why get a ramp when you can get a hydraulic lift? It came to me one day and I was asleep. Picture this. Hydraulic lift? Why haven't I thought of that before? Darn. So, here we are. It folds away into the back, should you so wish. And it also folds down as well. It's a bit stuck. You've got stow, you've got deploy. You've got down, you've got up. You even have a nice little hanger on the back here to hang it up with. And worst case, if the electrics were to go one day, you can actually manually jack it up, jack it off. Let me begin. It's an Ant and Dec song, isn't it? Yeah. I think, yeah. I don't know about jack it off. I don't know, I don't think that was the lyrics. Of course, you're thinking, is that long enough to sustain a motorcycle? Well, I'll show you. I think I'm about 5'10" maybe. That's okay until you get this backboard come and hit you in the head.
Nice pillow.
It is. Do you know what? Not bad. I could have a mattress on here or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, the answer is no, it's not long enough to put a motorcycle on. Maybe if you've got a mini moto, Maybe one day you shall see that. But for an average sized motorcycle, no. Let me show you how to get around that. Oh, I'm getting old. As you can see here, what is this contraption? Just come and have a look at this. I'm quite proud of this. This is an old motorcycle ramp, which I have adapted, fitted and hidden into here. Now, as we simply pull this little bolt out of here, lovely. We then go back to here. We can then move it from the piece of foam. One thing I hate in vans, especially when you've got this much gear in here, is stuff rattles about a lot. Rattles about, wobbles about, makes noise. And that's how much I dislike noise. It makes no noise. That's pretty good. Bit of foam there. Move it across the foam. You take that out. Lovely. Couple of little slots in here where it sits. It folds into there. Bolt it through. Job's a good one. Now, bolt. We grab this. I have slightly adapted this ramp here and cut a couple of slots into the mesh. I've also welded a couple of support bars for the bolts to go through. This is what it does.
Go underneath.
We go, yeah, look at that. So, with the little bits, we stick that in there. Boom, whack that in there. Now, we can't just leave that because it's not very well supported. So, this is where the bolts come in handy. These are the same bolts which hold it into the wooden support up there. Genius idea, I can hear you say. Thank you, I know. So, one bolt through. I'll just come over here. Two bolts through. Now, we've gained an extra foot, maybe? That's all we need. How strong is it? Strong enough. Into the vehicle we come. Now, this is the motorcycle we're using today. I won't tell you much about it because it'll be another video. If you can tell me what it is, I'll be...
Drop it in the comments.
Yeah, drop it in the comments below. Here we go. This is the important part. How do you keep a motorcycle secure in the van? Three main factors to keep a motorcycle safe in the van. Front stand, rear stand, and some straps as well. So, pop round to the front if you will, Alex, and I'll show you the front stand.
There it is.
There it is. Now, I forget what they call it. These are a wheel chock. Yeah, they work really well without straps or any extra features on here. They are adaptable for wheel size. However, most 17-inch front wheels fit in there wonderfully. They do have a little lock on here, so I'll show you how they work later, but they essentially pivot on this bolt here. You ride it in, it locks it on the front here, and you're pretty secure. If you want to, and you're going over the top, you can put that little lock and lug in there. Just stops it from backing out, but you don't really need to do that. Back to the back we go. Whew. Rear paddock stand. This, mixed with the front chock, do a fantastic job of keeping the bike stable. I have got a couple of straps on here, but they're not particularly tight. It really keeps it stable. I dare say you could use a rear chock, a rear paddock stand and a front chock and not strap it down and they'd be that secure. As long as your rear stand was a good fit. So, rear paddock stand, front chock. There's that bit. Let's move on to the straps. Just pop inside here. Now, if you've done this before, if you've loaded up motorcycles before, you'll know that straps are a pretty essential key. In fact, if you've loaded anything before, you'll know that straps are a pretty important factor to strapping anything down. Ratchet straps. A lot of people really struggle with ratchet straps on how to operate them, which I don't understand because they are very simple. Once you've got front chock, rear paddock stand, you don't really have to strap them down too much anyway. So, get yourself some ratchet straps. They're cheap and they're very effective and they're fantastic. On a slight side note of that, somewhere to hook the straps onto, like these eyes down here that I've bolted through the floor, they work really well. I've stuck one up there, I've stuck one here. Scatter them about. If you have two bikes in your van, which I do regularly, scatter them about. You need to have somewhere you need to have an anchor point to bolt these straps down to, and that through the floor. Lovely job. I did put these in myself. Yeah. In fact, I didn't. I do understand that a lot of people wouldn't want to drill a hole in their van floor. I do understand that. I was quite lucky because this used to have chairs inside of it where they were bolted to the floor anyway. So I just used the existing holes and bolted them straight through underneath. And they work really well. They're solid, they're secure, they'll last forever. Interestingly enough, the fantastic things, this is nice, I can sit down. The nice,
down as well.
yeah, a nice carpeted floor. Yeah, why not? Why not? What a lovely day. The benefit of disabled vans is they tend to have this track system in. Now I think this is Irwin track or something like that. Unwin track. Fantastic bit of kit. The nice thing about most disabled vehicles, disabled vans, is they tend to have this tracking built into them already. You can get, which I got included in this, again, most of the time when you buy a disabled vehicle, you will get a load of belts and straps which were used to strap the wheelchair down, strap the wheelchairs in so they didn't move. So you tend to get a load of little fixtures and fittings anyway. You can buy them. They're relatively expensive if you don't have them though. But yeah.
It's worth it.
The great thing about these is you can modify them and they give you adjustable positions that you can bolt in here, 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 or anywhere else that you want to bolt these in. Which is handy if you have got different size bikes, different length bikes. If you've got the mini motos and you want to, and the strapping points are moved further forward, you can adjust them on these tracks so they fit in there anywhere. Super handy. If you don't have the tracks, it's fine. You just tend to have to put more anchor points into the floor. So there's that. There's the tracking system. So. Lovely, that's in there. So, just pop round to this side. Here is one such strap which was used to hold in a wheelchair. Now it fits into the rail system at the bottom there, and it gives you a hook on here. Gives you a hook on here to go onto your bike wherever you want it. It is a bit large. It just so happens that it fits this bike quite well. And it works essentially the same as a ratchet strap. So we'll lift that up, we'll unhook that. Job done. Again, the nice thing is you can move the straps along this rail to any point you want to any point of your bike. It really is a suit any bike situation. We've done front chock, we've done rear stand, we've done straps. Move on to the back and let's get this thing at. That almost rhymed. Let's remove the rear paddock stand. That was easy. Here's a quick lesson on paddock stands. Most of the time on motorcycles, follow me. I'll be over there in a second. Yeah, keep going around. I'll join you around there. As you'll see here on this KTM, we have bobbin stands, bobbins, spools, swing arm sliders, whatever you want to call them. I can hear you asking me, what type of stand do you need to go on here? There's a few different types of stand in the world. As it just so happens, I have two here. And a third. So, for the bobbin stands, the hook system hooks into the groove on the bobbins here, and it lifts the bike up from either side and hooks it in. Lovely. A lot of bikes, especially the lower CC ones, or cheaper bikes, or just some bikes in general, don't have the lug on the bottom to put a bolt through to then put your paddock stand onto. So then you may need one of these stands. These are a universal stand and they tend to fit underneath the swinging arm and cup the swinging arm. Cup it. Yeah? They will cup it either side of the swinging arm and lift it up from there. These are not as good as the bobbin system. So I suggest if you do have bobbins, use them because they work really well. However, if you don't, especially on the, like I say, some lower CC bikes, these are a great alternative for it. They're just maybe not quite as secure. However, if you pair these with the front chock and the ratchet straps, you're good to go, you're secure. What's this third stand, you may ask? Well, these are essentially the same stand. They both use a hook system on here. However, you can see this one is a lot shorter than this one. when you use the front chock systems, because they take up about 6 inches off the front of the van, when you then put the paddock stand on the rear, it can sometimes be a bit hard to close the door. I modified this stand and cut off about 6 inches of it and welded it back up together to give me a shorter stand so it fits well in every van. It is a bit harder to lift the bike up because you lose a bit of leverage, but leverage?
Same thing.
Yeah, is one American. Maybe I am American, man. You lose a bit of leverage. That's definitely American. You lose a bit of leverage when you...
Tomato.
Yeah. Sidewalk.
Trash cans.
Potato chips. Monster Munch. Yeah. Fucking bullshit. You do lose a bit of leverage, but it's worth it. And even if you were to keep this just in your van, as I do, keep it in your van as your van only lift, and one for the garage when you aren't feeling quite as strong. So there's paddock stands for you. I'm sure there is a few more different types, and I haven't bought any front paddock stands with me because I tend to use the chocks. If I go to a track day, I will have a front paddock stand. There's only 2 types of them. Join me. It's a pretty terrible example on this bike because it's so high, but essentially you get a paddock stand that either fits in this hole up here, which doesn't exist because it's got a mudguard on it. Picture this mudguard wasn't here. There's a hole in the bottom of the yoke. You either get a headstock stand, they call them, to lift from there, or very similar to these stands, you get one that cups the bottom of the forks and lift it up from the bottom of the forks. Again, personally, I'd say the headstock ones are better because your forks and your front wheel are then completely free. Sometimes with the cup stands, your handlebars have to be completely perfectly straight because of the way they lift up from the forks. And also, if you are into changing wheels at track days, if you've got wet tyres, for example, and you want to put your wet wheels on, a lot of the paddock stands actually cover the fittings you need to undo the front wheel, where the headstock stands are completely, they're not anywhere near that bit, so they're a lot better, they're a lot easier to use, in my opinion. So, there's that. Let's move on to some interesting things. Oh, right. Like Monster Munch.
You land one in my mouth.
Potato chips. Come on. Let's show you how to get the vehicle out. One thing, you do have to be cautious of this. You do not want to walk into this. It's at perfect knee height, and I'm sure it will hurt. Knee high? I'm not Japanese.
Ni hao.
Ni hao, ichi ni sangonyon. I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You went to Tokyo, didn't you?
I did go to Tokyo.
How
yeah.
was that?
Good. Excellent.
Nice.
But I didn't learn that. I learnt that in primary school. Don't walk into these.
Jordan's the type of person to go to Tokyo and then buy a massage chair because he sat in one there for £2,000.
Oh, it was fantastic as well. It didn't last very long because it got used daily. But in the time that I did have it,
He's full of arthritis now.
yeah, now it's fucked me. Let's unload this vehicle.
Oh, Sharon's hit the pole. Your little wheel turner, do you?
Oh, that's a fantastic idea. This is another fantastic idea that I have had. I'm full of fantastic ideas. I think this is a car wheel lift or wheel transporter when you're in garages. However, I saw this and straight away I thought that looks like a motorbike lifter for me. And by golly, does it work. £25 for this, by the way.
That's incredible.
If you have a bad back like I do most of the time, I cannot explain how vital these are to your life. This isn't sponsored. I wish it was, but it isn't. Buy yourself one. £25. Is it the bargain of the year? Probably. What does it do though? Let me show you.
Let's explain.
This was my idea. I was very happy when this worked, but in essence, you put the 2 prongs either side of the motorcycle. I actually keep one of these in my van because they're that handy. And when you are trying to lift bikes over to get them in the way or out of the way, especially the big 1000cc's, they can be quite heavy. And the worst thing you want to do is injure your back before you've even started the day. Why would you bother? There's things out there to help you. Don't struggle with things, guys. Right, what does it do? I'll show you what it does. With a simple leverage like this, can you see that? The back wheel is now off the ground. It's got wheels here, it's got wheels here. Yeah, as simple as that. We lift it off the ground and then we just pull. Ow, and run over my foot in Crocs. That really hurt. Spin. So, look at that, wheel off the ground, and then we can push, we can pull, we can move the bike wherever we want it. Is this hurting my back? No, it's not. The only weight I've got here is from my arm, not on my back, sack or crack. Lift it out, drop it down. How easy was that to move a bike out? Fantastically easy. Now it's in perfect line. So, we can then push it out from the chock. Lovely. We line it up. We line it up with this rear wheel here, and we hold the front brake. We cover the front brake with our hands, because that's what you do, so it doesn't roll off. We cover the front brake. You also want to make sure, especially on electric bikes, which I haven't again. Is this electric bike? Oh, is it? Isn't it? Whoa, did I release a secret? Once this is on here, the hazards are on. The nice thing about, look at this, I can't grab my phone I can't grab the controller to lift me down. Don't worry, the lift has a built-in toggle switch here, where I can just hold that, lower me down. Look how easy this is. I've never unloaded motorbikes so easily in my life. Push that back. Tell me that was not easy. Tell me it.
That wasn't easy. No, it was really easy.
I'll go home then. I'm sure you can get the idea, but if I was to load the bike up, I push it in here, up on the ramp. Right, imagine I've just had a terrible motorcycle accident at a track day and my bike is smashed up, and not only am I angry at myself, I'm angry at my bike for letting me down. What horseshit. I'm really tired. I can't physically push the motorcycle up the ramp. I can't ask anybody for help because they're going to come over here and see that I've smashed my bike up. That's even going to incite more questions. What did you do? What went wrong? Was it you? Was it the track? You know it's yourself. You fucked up. You crashed. You're going too fast. You outpaced your abilities. You're shit. With this setup, you haven't got to involve anybody else in this. You push your broken bike onto the ramp and you lift it up. I won't go all the way in, you get the idea. Once that is on here, the lift capacity, by the way, on these, 350 kilos this ramp can lift. A heavy sports bike is 200 kilos, if you like. Track bikes will be less. A heavy sports bike is 200 kilos. How much do I weigh? 75, 80 kilos, probably, something like that. We've still got 60 kilos in capacity. So,
take 500 as well.
Yes, and that's the safe weight. That's the safe lift, yeah. So, it can lift me and it can lift the bike up in one go. Once it's here, you push the bike in. Look how easy that was. No more ramps, no more inclines, down and up. Right, so, we'll push it back out, we'll go down. Oh. And we're down. Tell me that is not the way in 2025 to unload and load a motorcycle. Tell me. Stand down, boom. I'm at the track days. Paddock stands on the front, paddock stands on the rear. I'm not even out of breath. This is how easy this is. I'm not even out of breath, honestly. That's how easy this is. It folds up, you put your ramp away, you go from there. Excellent, there's that. Great, plus I'll be probably hilariously funny. How not to load a motorcycle, 101. Don't listen to me, YouTube. What the fuck do I know? So you've seen how we load, unload, secure the motorcycle. Now, we're just on to a few extra bits and pieces which are handy to keep in the van at all times. No, number one, a toolbox. I only keep cheap tools in my van because if it was to get broken into in the unlikely event, you don't want your expensive tools going missing. If you're a builder, different story. Secure your van properly. I'm not a builder. I'm not anything really.
That was deep.
Or am I? Am I anything or everything? I only keep cheap vans. I only keep cheap vans in my tool. I only keep cheap tools in my van because if someone was to break into them, they're going to nick 100 quid's worth of AliExpress tools. They'll probably break on you before you break into the van. Right, basics. Tyre pressure monitor. Fuses. A screwdriver. This is the best screwdriver in the world. It fits everything. One screwdriver fits all. A multimeter for testing electrical circuits and such. They're shit. Manual verniers. You haven't got to worry about batteries running out if they're manual, have you? To measure things up. I'd say it's about that big. What have we got? We've got an AliExpress 3/8 socket or wrench. Cheap spanners. Cheap sockets. A selection of pliers and scissors. Making a mess. Hammer. Grinding wheels. What do they go on? Good question. A cheap grinder. A cheap impact wrench. No battery. Not too essential, but a blower fan. For cleaning out your van after you've finished. This also doubles up as a hoover. You attach a bag on the back. This is cheap. It's not Makita, it's Machita, the Chinese version. Cheap batteries are shit. It is a cheap battery, it's in my van. It lasts about 5 minutes, that's good enough for me. Great. What else have we got? A few bits and pieces, Allen keys. A multi-socket to take the front wheel bits off. Sockets for taking that off. You get the gist. What's in the bottom here? If you can just have a quick look at this. This is a £20 1/2-inch ratchet and socket set. Fantastic. It does every job you need to. £20, £25, something like that. Keep it in here. It's good if you need to do car wheels, car stuff, bike stuff, helicopters, planes. If you can fix a bike, you can fix a helicopter. RAF. Right. Stick that in there.
The RAF.
Yeah. If you can fix a skateboard, you can fix an Apache helicopter. No, I can't.
I don't know where to start.
Yeah. Haven't you got some Abex?
Yeah. Reds.
Yeah. Right. Right. I won't clear that up. We'll run that of battery. That'll go. Pump. Keep a pump in here at all times. Again, handy for all types of vehicles. It does stupid racing bike valves. It does Schrader valves, which every other vehicle in the world uses. Handy, no tools needed. I could get a battery pump. I don't need to. This works all the time. It's got a gauge on there. It's broken. I've got a tyre pressure monitor. I don't need a gauge. That can sit up there. Handy, out of the way, compact. This is a nice little thing. I forgot about this. Rubber mallet. That's not what I was talking about, but rubber mallets. They're good. Bring that over here. A little vise for clamping things in, should you need to, in the event of safety. That packs away, it folds down there, it's not in any ways harm, not in any ways harm. Any harm's way. Thank you. Underneath here, forgot about these as well, so many things hidden. Again, cheap, £14, £15, a set of deep sockets for taking wheels off cars. You never know when you're going to be the good Samaritan and change somebody's tyre over for them or something. You'll need that. That can go with your cheap toolkit. Hide that in here. What else have I got in here? A toolbox. I keep this in here at all times. A few random bolts in. Again, you never know when you're going to need an M8, M6, M5, M10 bolt. What else have I got? A few bits from my bikes. Spare foot pegs and such. Brake levers. Just stuff, you get the idea. My track day box. Keep that in there, you haven't got to take it out. It's handy if you need it. Oh, lovely. What else have we got? Great, I'll get onto that in a second. Thanks for reminding me, Jordan. Finally, underneath here, just quickly on here, a petrol jug decanter. Handy, because for years I just poured it straight from my big jerry can into my tank. You get pretty good if you do it often enough and not spilling it everywhere. However, it's a lot easier to pour it into here, a lot more specific. You've got your literage, or your gallonage if you're American. Over here, one of these cheap toolkits, £10. It's missing a lot of the bits, but it was only £10. Again, you use it once, it comes in handy for £10. It does a lot of your little bits. This does most of what you need. £10, keep it in your van, why not? Ow. Gloves. Always keep gloves in your van. You don't want dirty hands if you don't have to. Rags. Keep rags in your van. That's an old t-shirt. What else have I got? More rags. Warning triangles for when I eventually break down, but I won't break down because the Renault Master van is fantastic. I'm not going to move this because it's quite heavy, but I keep a jack underneath there as well, a full-size jack. Scissor jacks are terrible and dangerous and crap. Keep yourself one of these. In there, it fits underneath my passenger seat. Beautiful. What else have I got? Boots. You never know when you're going to go for a random test ride on a motorbike. Boots, helmet, keep it in there. Gloves as well. Why wouldn't you? We're nearly there. Last thing, lubrications and stuff. In here, I have clear grease. I have dry chain lube. I keep these in here all the time because you never know when you're going to want to lube. And after you've lubed, you want to wash. I keep this to wash my visor down. Again, keep them in your van. You haven't got to worry about forgetting them then, have you? They go in the door pocket. Fantastic. What else is there? A seat. Keep a seat in your van. You never know when you want to sit down. If you break down or on a track day, get your seat out. You ain't got to worry about sitting down then, have you? It's not like vans have seats. Monster Munch, yeah. Don't forget about your Monster Munch. What else is there? I don't think there's anything. So there we go. There is my van setup. I think it's personally the best van setup you can have for transporting motorcycles and other things if you want to. Like, you can do wheelchairs. Carrying motorcycles about. A few extra considerations to carry on. This particular van is slow as shit. It's a 1.9 diesel. There might be something wrong with it. It only goes about 70 miles an hour, but you're not going to get speeding tickets. It's frustratingly slow, especially when you've been on a track day, beans in it, and then you get back into this and have to travel down, you know, a main road at 60. It takes you like 60 seconds to get to 60. It's incredibly slow, but it is what it is. It's carrying a big lift in the back, I expect, plus bikes, whatever. So yeah, I'd say that's the best vehicle, the best setup for transporting, carrying, and other things to do with motorcycles. What are your thoughts? Let me know, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, goodbye guys.